The Scream Kings are in no way responsible for any encounters with the paranormal, extraterrestrial abductions, eldritch insanity, hauntings, hexes, curses, demonic possessions, cryptozoological sightings, or any loss of sleep from listening to this podcast.
This is the Scream Kings podcast. I'm NJ Gallegos.
I'm Max George.
And I'm Nathaniel Darkish.
Click, 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 blah. Click, podcast. Wow, click, blah.
This might be my favorite intro that we've ever done.
I worked really hard on that line, guys.
Yes, and it's very clear what movie we're talking about because of that tagline.
If anyone listening did not read the intro to this episode and hears NJ do that brilliant rendition and knows what movie we're talking about, we owe you everything.
1,000,000 points.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so today we're talking about No One Will Save You.
We're okay, but before we get there, we have to. I know we announced this, whatever, blah blah blah. NJ, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, guys. It's the first full-length episode. Oh my god.
Are you?
I mean, it's your third full-length episode, but it's
first. But I mean, co-host.
Yes.
Yeah, you are now an official host. You are not a Scream Lord, a Scream Duke, a Scream Duchess. You are the first Scream King of the female variety. Welcome!
Yes. Thank you.
There's a word for that.
Thank you.
It's so exciting. And we're talking about a very amazing, fun film today on the show as well to introduce you.
Like I started to say, yeah, it's No One Will Save You, released this year, 2023. It was a Hulu exclusive, written and directed by Brian Duffield. And it's a fun movie, guys.
I enjoyed it quite thoroughly.
Yeah, it's a film that I was notified about by my fiancé for the podcast world. Me and my partner got engaged. I don't know if I ever made an announcement, Nathaniel.
I don't remember. It's all a blur.
Love is love. Cool. He let me know about it, and I was, a little like, okay, it's a Hulu special. Okay.
And it's PG-13, okay. Sounds kind of lame.
Yeah, exactly. But we watched it 4-hour horror movie marathon, and it kind of stole the day.
It was definitely the most well-received movie out of everything we watched.
There were a few people who were actually scared of aliens. One in particular who that is their worst fear is alien. We had screams, we had laughs, nervous laughs. This movie is killer in so many ways, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Should we briefly recap the plot? Or yes, I guess before we do that, our obligatory... Yes, we're going to spoil the crap out of this movie. If you want to know if you should pick it up, just pause the episode, go watch it. It's definitely, I think, worth your time.
The premise, I think, is pretty easy to approach. Girl lives alone, and one night...
Living that cottagecore lifestyle.
The word again. Oh, boy. She gets... attacked? I don't know if it's the right word. The aliens kind of come to her house clearly trying to do something nefarious. One alien in particular, and it does not go well for the alien. It actually ends up dying. And it kind of unravels this abduction story, not of just this one individual, but the entire town. And the fight against her versus the alien species. And there are a lot of doors that are not open, a lot of mysteries to uncover. We are not 100% sure what happens at the end of the day, but it is a riveting and compelling film. NJ, what did you think about kind of the summary / plot / synopsis?
It was beautiful, but you also have to mention that she is battling inner demons that we don't really know much about until the end.
And those demons Pazuzu. No, having accidentally murdered her friend when they were teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, her name was Maud. Like, do you think that that's kind of why? Like,
she had it coming.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now I'm imagining Max in, full cabaret style Chicago performance
Snapping the
attire.
fingers, right? Snapping the
Yes.
fingers or no? Okay, cool.
You'd be so lucky, Nathaniel.
Yeah, that's the word.
So I think before we get too off track with my scantily clad legs, the highlight of this film is that there is one line of dialogue. And that might sound off-putting to a lot of people, but in a film about aliens and this kind of a synopsis that we just gave, the lack of dialogue really is kind of a creative force and pulls you in ways that I did not think possible when it came to a horror movie. We're all familiar with silent films, yada, yada, yada. We give those credit and everything. This does something a little bit different, and I want to know what you two think about that. Did the lack of dialogue enhance the film or kind of pull you out of it?
I think it absolutely enhanced it. So I think it helped build like a quiet horror part where it kind of unbalances you a little bit. And then just her not speaking, talking to herself or anybody else really, it just like amplifies how isolated and alone she is.
I really like that word unbalanced because I felt that was a common theme throughout the film. You get used to a certain way of life and then something happens and throws everything into chaos. And it's realistic, right? We're not constantly talking to ourselves. Sure, mentally maybe, but we're not verbalizing how we're feeling or what we're doing or the next step, right? And so to see that portrayed on film kind of made it unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and along those lines, I like that it really also related to how much she is this town pariah too, right? That like everyone in town who knows her story hates her guts. Especially of course the friends and family of the girl that she killed. But everyone
Mad.
just treats her very poorly. But they manage to even maintain the lack of dialogue in that way. And then kind of for the latter half, when aliens are controlling most of the humans in town, it also continued to work for natural plot reasons. So I thought it was really a good move, and it definitely made me a lot more invested as well.
Yeah, I agree with that, Nathaniel, and I think a no dialogue film is important in this kind of a scenario because God forbid aliens do kind of come and abduct us, right? There is a very slim chance that they're going to speak American English to everybody.
British English, on the other hand.
Yes, exactly.
They're very posh.
It's this idea in D&D, right, that everyone speaks common, but realistically, we're not going to be able to communicate with these individuals, these creatures, whatever we want to call them, and there's some fear in that, and it's a little twisted in a very subtle way that I think if you don't do it right, it won't work, and this movie does it so right. So good.
Yeah, it nails it. And, like you were kind of mentioning before, whenever she comes in contact with the people in the town and whatnot, the fact that they don't speak to her, it's like they think so little of her that you're not worth speaking to. So it's just another, like, bam, nail in the coffin with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some other parts that you guys really enjoyed about the film?
So one thing that I really like about this was that the design of the aliens was very familiar in a lot of ways. They kind of look like classic grays, But then we also kind of have the fun like variants on them, right? There's the telekinetic one. There's like the weird, claw small one. There's like the really huge, behemoth one. And so that element of the creature design was really cool. And then also I liked the design of the little bugs that go in people's throats and control them from there. So the creature design, even though a lot of it felt very familiar in certain ways, there was also some really cool, really fun new spins on the classic gray alien.
Yeah, I think we're a little oversaturated with aliens, especially grays. But I think something that I really appreciate about the film is the first third is they do something really different than most alien films in that it's not this like beam of light that takes someone into the sky and then we're done. It is a home invasion movie, for lack of a better description, right? For the first third of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it is the alien doing the invasion, and it's kind of this twisted, this gray alien kind of hunting down the human. And they turn this gray, the bulbous head, the big black eyes, yada, yada, yada. They make it scary, but really scary. I mean, this is the part where a lot of the people we were watching with, Nathaniel, were screaming at the jump scares and kind of the terror of it. A horror movie can be scary, but when it terrifies people, that's a different level. And I'm just really impressed at what they did with aliens. They made them not cheesy. We don't see that very often.
Well, and the other thing, I think I read this somewhere, that it's like one of the top things people hate. Like it scares the shit out of them in movies. Is like when people like do the crab walk, or they do that kind of like movement, and it's just very off-putting. And that's kind of what they did. And it just makes you want to crawl out of your skin. And then the clicking, it reminded me of the girl from Hereditary, kind of.
Oh yeah. What else did we like?
I really enjoy that the aliens could actually be taken out relatively easily for them. I mean, depends on which type, right? But like, yes, they were a very real threat, but they weren't these unstoppable killing machines. Like, obviously there's a place for that because Alien exists and xenomorphs are amazing. But yeah, like I want it to. I enjoy when the threat isn't just like, hey, this is this godlike killing machine monster, but rather it's a sheer numbers overwhelming kind of threat. And we don't always see that with alien films, especially in the horror genre. So I really liked that, like, they were fallible and kind of had their own agenda, and we didn't necessarily understand that, but we could see some of their weaknesses on display.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things, again, that I think this movie does well, is the realism of everything. These alien invaders are coming to this poor girl's house. She's trying to run away from them, but she's also defending herself. And they don't have like supreme telekinetic magneto powers that prevent anything bad from happening to them. She's able to kill the first invader. And I don't know, there's something weirdly satisfying about that, for the protagonist to actually injure an alien. When do we see that? Not in Chariots of Fire, not in Dark Skies.
Chariots of Fire?
I don't know, whatever.
Fire in the Sky.
That, sure. I'm thinking of the book I think it's based on, right?
Chariots of Fire is the one that dun 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 dun.
No,
dun,
I know. But there's a book, Chariots of something, and it's about aliens. Whatever.
Still just Fire in the Sky.
I don't think so. Betty and Barney Hill. I'm reading their book. Aliens don't ever get hurt. It was nice to see them kind of taken down a peg.
That's true. And they didn't really, I mean, they have like obviously advanced technology, but it's like they don't have ray guns, or they don't have, like they're not really showing like advanced weapons or anything like that. So it's almost a little bit of an even playing field. Get a cast iron skillet and just bam.
Chariots of the Gods, bitches. That's the book.
No, that is an Alien RPG game.
No, it's written by Eric von Daniken, you punk.
Really? I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, wow.
So do I. Oh no, NJ, this is why you're here.
My dads are fighting.
To prevent fist fights.
It's just like when I was growing up.
Oh no!
Stop fighting, guys.
No. Okay, apparently it's about things.
Boom! Max knows things. I know things more than demons.
I'm impressed. Good job.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed in you, but it's unrelated.
That's fine. NJ's here to validate my existence, so I'll be okay.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Oh, thanks, sweetie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Caitlin Dever. Is that how we say it? Are we sure?
Dever. Dever.
Because she's a rock star. Caitlin, you need an Emmy for this film, I think.
Do they give Emmys for Hulu movies?
Now they do.
Okay, cool.
All right, there we go. What else is she in? She looked very familiar. I didn't check anything.
She is in Booksmart, Justified.
Booksmart, that's what it was, yep.
That movie Rosaline. Not very much. But anyway, yeah, she was very good. Definitely not super experienced, but she really did a great job of kind of carrying the movie as the sort of sole protagonist viewpoint character. And I'm sure that's a heavy lift as an actress. So I definitely appreciate that she delivered a really strong performance that kind of kept us engaged with what was going on, and had us asking questions and developing theories and all of that, as we kind of watch her performance.
Yeah, Nathaniel, you have written in our show notes about kind of the script, and I'd love to see the direction that the script gives, where it's not dialogue based. I wonder if maybe they had dialogue lines, but they weren't spoken, and gave them, I can't assume their gender, kind of a frame of reference of how to portray or how to act, or I don't know. I'm intrigued by that. Yes.
So this script, apparently, so I saw when the writer director posted some stuff on Twitter about this, and so I've kind of held on to this information. But yeah, this is a good time to talk about it. A lot of the script is very unique. Obviously, not just in terms of there's almost no dialogue, but also just like the formatting is very different. So I have a page of it up in front of me, and I actually have it linked in our show notes for my co-hosts here, where it's just so this is a moment when it's she is like frozen, she's fighting with one of the gray aliens, and it almost seems like something out of like a House of Leaves, so with no spaces, there is multiple lines of just repeating, she can't move, 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 she can't move. And then like in bold it just says like her door is pushed open. She can't move, can't move, she can't move, she can't move, she can't move. The gray is there. She can't move, she can't move, she can't move. It moves slowly towards her. She can't move, she can't move, she can't move. Then rises in the light. She can't move, she can't move, she can't move. Rising up to her. So it's like a very unique kind of thing. Like it sort of captures the feeling of how intense and kind of internal a lot of this is, which by kind of reflecting that in the way that the script is formatted. I think it's super cool.
That is cool. It's like, it almost looks like art if you look at it. And I mean, I don't know much about script writing, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yes, definitely. Not the usual format, and yeah, it definitely kind of reminds me more of like a concrete poem or something like that.
Also, the one thing I would like to talk about, um, the little like tentacle alien dudes that so whenever the gray guy he vomits up this tentacle dude, and then tentacle dude goes and her mouth and takes over. I wanted to bring up Animorphs.
Go on.
Right? So, I mean, it vomits up this tentacle thing, it enters the host, whatnot, and then, I mean, takes over. It sounds like it kind of supplies memories or, a different kind of reality, but it's like the Yerks.
I'm having so many flashbacks to 5th grade. It's amazing.
I was so into Animorphs, it was unreal.
Same.
Yes.
I would play Animorphs. What animal would you guys always want to be?
I wanted to be a tiger.
I wanted it to be like this weird reversal where, like, I would want to turn into the aliens that are the ones that gave the Animorph powers.
Andalites, yeah.
Yeah, Andalites. Yeah, I was super obsessed with them. Yeah, we're just gonna have to have an Animorphs episode at some point. It'll be amazing.
I would love that. One more Animorph thing I would like to tell you guys, just because it's very exciting. Do you remember they had a show for like a very brief period?
Mm-hmm.
And they had a contest where you could send in a postcard, and like first place was, I don't know, you get to be a Yerk or something, I don't know. But I ended up getting a VHS tape sent to my house, and I won like the first like 4 episodes on VHS.
Which have been in a shadow box ever since.
Yeah. I was so excited. And like, I mean, come on. I never win anything like that.
Yeah, that is phenomenal, and 3rd, 4th grade version of me is intensely jealous of your big win.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, I'm still jealous, honestly. I would have that in a place of in a treasured position in my home.
I should try to find it. It's probably somewhere.
I think I would be a chameleon if I could turn into an animal.
So you're just hanging out and just looking with your eye. You're like, oh shit, stuff's going down over there. I'm going to eat this bug.
Yeah, exactly. And I could change colors depending on how I feel. I'm a living mood ring.
You're right. That one is way better.
Yeah. Or an Andalite.
Yeah, Andalite's pretty good.
At least I'm real.
So is a tiger.
Yeah, but you have to touch a tiger. When are you going to touch a tiger?
Or maybe, you could be a falcon and then...
No, if you're a falcon, you'll be stuck forever, like Tobias. Guys, this is a whole other episode.
Oh my god, we should totally do an Animorphs episode. Like, it would be a culmination of my life. I would have peaked if we've done an Animorphs episode.
Yes. New life goal, find K.A. Applegate and get her on the show.
Oh my god. I'm on it.
Okay. With our powers combined, we will have the ultimate Animorphs episode. And then Scream Kings will turn into an Animorphs fan cast.
The Scream Kings podcast, formerly sponsored by Hereditary. Wow, I can't talk again. I'm done.
And now, just obsessed with Animorphs.
There's worse fates.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so getting back onto No One Will Save You, let's just talk about that ending, because I love the ending, the dance number where she's just like homies with all of the alien possessed people and just living her best life. I am all about that.
I am a little curious because I talked with my aunt who also watched this film, and she hated the ending. Thought that the first third was really good, and then that the movie just kind of tanked towards the end. And I disagree. I also loved the ending. Nathaniel, NJ, I kind of want to know what you thought about the ending, how you interpreted it, and why it was scary to you.
I was honestly a bit confused because whenever they take her up on the ship and then they have like they interrogate her memories or whatever, and then we relive her killing Mad, and they send her back without a tentacle thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not controlling her or influence her memories to be like all idyllic. Then they have the little dance number where everybody's having a good old time. That implies like they were like, you know what? Nope, we're taking over everybody, even you. And is that kind of what that was?
To me, this seems like an inverse of the Futurama movie, The Beast with a Billion Backs, where she is single-handedly dating the entire alien species at the same time now.
All right.
See,
And those aren't tentacles, those are genticles.
Ha!
Boom! I interpreted it as the aliens probed her mind, saw that she killed Mad, and kind of realized that she was essentially one of them, and kind of allowed her to live in her own fantasy while they kind of did whatever they wanted to do.
So she had free will, like she's her own self.
Her own self in kind of a trapped purgatory almost, that she kind of gave up, accepted the alien will, and they showed mercy in their weird extraterrestrial kind of way. So kind of like this twisted agreement of sorts.
Yeah, like I think, yeah, maybe they saw some of themselves in her and how she thinks, or also, yeah, maybe it's just that she was pretty much the only person that we're aware of who did reject the, idyllic bliss of, the sort of, dream world version of, oh, everything is perfect, everything is fixed, that was kind of given to anyone who had the weird bug tentacle thing in them. She rejected that, and so I think, they found her more interesting than just, a complacent, whatever. So the fact that she is more interested in maybe continuing her life, but now with them as her neighbors is maybe more intriguing than just simply controlling everybody. Like, oh, hey, well, she's interesting enough to keep around.
Like they regard her as an equal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Or they're really, really jealous of her cottagecore aesthetic and really just want that for themselves.
It makes sense.
I'm just going to keep trying to weave in the word cottage as many times as I can.
Also, they should have just really done like Dancing Queen,
Mm-hmm. ABBA. I love ABBA.
Oh, me too.
Outside of the ending, I do think the film did a really good job of always kind of keeping us on our toes, especially with the variety of different alien types, where the alien was killed in the first third of the film. There was no like definitive plot that we all were expecting and hoping for.
Yeah, definitely. I know, when we were watching it, we were all like throwing out theories, every 5 minutes. Oh, well, maybe, when the bus scene is going on, maybe, yeah, they're hunting her now, or, oh, like we were constantly like reinterpreting, reevaluating our ideas of what was coming, and that was a lot of fun.
I did like that, yeah. It did kind of remind me on that bus scene, where they were quivering of the neck and stuff. It reminded me a little bit of The Faculty.
I can see that.
Yeah. I guess I don't know, because sometimes whenever you try to over-explain things, it'll ruin things. But then I feel like if things are under-explained, I get a little dissatisfied. But I mean, it's fine.
What I like about it is that, at least in this particular case, the fact that we didn't necessarily understand anything made the aliens feel more alien, right? Like, the way that they think, the way that they act is not really how we see the world. And so, I liked that at the end of the day, it didn't necessarily make perfect sense to us as the viewers because their brains work differently than ours. They have different priorities. Their perception of reality is very different. There are times when, I don't have the answers and I'm super ticked, but With this, I don't know. I just embraced it and just loved seeing a bizarre dance scene where everyone is an alien and everyone's dancing with her, and I'm like, yep, that ending, exactly what I didn't know I wanted.
It is true, though. I mean, like, she's living her best life, really. It seems like it's better than it was before. Everybody was being a dick beforehand.
Yeah, no one's going to be throwing her packages at her mailbox.
No, they'll put it right in there. Yeah. Do aliens have mail?
That's a good question.
I mean, I think they would, right?
You would think.
I'm now pondering so many things, guys.
And I'm just frantically trying to think of a dumb pun, but nothing is coming. I'm disappointed in myself. Okay.
How about, zip code is Area 51. Ha. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Nailed it.
Thank you.
We have in our notes something about the little miniature city / dollhouse. I don't know. These little miniature things always spook me.
Was it just because it was in Hereditary?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, it was. I took it to mean that she had, like, constructed her own version of the town.
Yeah.
So she was a part of it.
Well, and I think it was a kind of a twisted way for her to feel included as well, kind of having that control.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of what we see of her life, the fact that she's always, dressed up very fancy, even though no one's going to see her, that she's, always working on her little town, that she's always, doing stuff like dancing and, all of this kind of stuff is like showing us that, like, she's just playing pretend that she's accepted, which just makes it more sad when you actually see the reality of the situation. So, should we move on to things that we maybe didn't like as much in the film?
Yeah. Well, I already complained about what I didn't like, which was I want to know more, but you made a compelling point, Nathaniel.
I mean, I do that. But I wouldn't have minded at least a little bit more of kind of the end goal for the aliens. Yeah, is this really the world? Is it just a small area of the world? I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. I kind of had the same question about, is it just this one section of the Earth, or are they taking over the entire world? And it just doesn't make sense that they would do one little town in the entire planet. But without any context there, we kind of have to figure it out on our own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they did. Maybe, let's give them a backstory, and this is happening to small towns over the United States day after day, and the reason we're in a political shitstorm is because the aliens have taken over.
That could be it. Actually, I think the aliens would probably save us. Honestly.
Yeah, I think they just look at this and go, let's not do that. Actually, just hard pass on all of this.
Yeah, you know that they're driving by and they're locking their doors. They're like, Earth, don't stop there.
Yeah.
Or they're telling their friends, like, oof, we went to Earth on vacation for 4 days, and wow, we want our money back.
Let's just say what happens on Earth better stay on Earth.
Towards the ending, there's like a weird moment where they make a clone, or it's a hallucination, or a doppelganger.
Yeah, they like make a clone of her.
Yeah.
And I did not understand that part. It's very like minor to the plot and to everything else that's going on in the film, so I wasn't really upset about it because it just didn't matter, and it was so brief. But also, I was like, what the hell? What is this? What's going on?
Do you think maybe it was like symbolic? Because, they have her like relive this, and then she has to like confront herself for what she did?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning too, NJ. Kind of this mirror moment of facing your trauma and accept it, or,
Yeah, I will say it seems to only work as a symbol as opposed to working on a literal level as well, though. And inherently, I think that is a weakness of the storytelling. If you're going to have something symbolic, it better work both on a symbolic and literal level, or it just feels like it's kind of a mess. So yeah, the literary critic scholar side of me is just kind of cringing at that one thing, because yeah, I really couldn't justify it outside of just like oh yeah, well, it's her confronting her own problems, and
without an explanation, especially with a movie that's been pretty literal up to this point, it just felt, I don't know, kind of like a different movie all of a sudden for a few seconds.
Yeah, it's like they had to like pad the runtime for 5 minutes, so they just threw in a random idea. I wouldn't have minded if the CGI had been a little bit better, or even better if they'd used some practical effects with some of the alien stuff. I just, I'm such a big fan of practical effects, and yeah, there were parts where the aliens didn't look as good, as convincing. So yeah, I wouldn't have minded them upping their special effects game.
I did like the genticles.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't like genticles?
Yeah, everybody really.
Yeah, and we have just gotten a bunch of new fans who are real into...
Only genticles.
Yes.
All right, ladies, let's rate this baby.
So I give it an 8, but because one of my things that freaks me out is home invasions. So that was a big trigger for me. And then I found the aliens to be extremely creepy with their little double jointed clickiness.
So is that as screams like scared you, or content like good movie?
How about scared me?
Okay.
Yeah.
So 8 screams. Max?
I gave it a 7, actually. I feel like I'm the harsh rater of the group. And maybe it was because we were watching this for Horror Movie Day, and there were some people who were pretty disturbed by this film. But I think it really delivered in terms of spookiness, especially that first third. If you don't like home invasion and you don't like aliens, the first third of the film will not be fun for you.
Yeah. It's like The Strangers, but with UFOs.
Yeah. And a little more aggressive. The Strangers kind of tiptoe around for a while.
Yeah.
Tiptoe through the tulips. I gave it a 5 for screams. I didn't think this was that scary. I enjoyed it. I thought it was thrilling, but it just didn't really scare me at all. It was I was having a blast watching it. I've watched it twice now, but yeah, it never scared me as much as like, there were moments I'm like, oh, that was kind of creepy, or things like that. So there was plenty of creep factor, but it didn't ever really go beyond that for me. Let's talk crowns. I give this like a 7.5. Like, I think it's a pretty solid movie. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. I think it is the best alien film that I've seen in a very long time. Alien films in horror are so hit or miss. Sometimes they are really good, and other times they're really bad. And it's refreshing and exciting to watch an alien horror movie that does what this movie does.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. I think that I like the twist, like the unique take on it, especially the no dialogue. I thought that really worked for it. I would watch it again. I would recommend it to people. So 7.
Yeah, likewise.
All right. Well, that is our ratings. So, since we have talked about this wonderful alien film, I've prepared something a little special, especially since I have a new victim now. We're gonna play the Be Real game.
Oh boy!
Okay,
oh my.
so you have no idea what this game is, right?
Not
MJ?
a clue. Not a clue.
Okay, so what this game is I am going to read you the description of 3 films. So the description is going to include the title, the year it was made, a plot description, as well as the overall IMDb rating, and a at least a little bit of a review from IMDb. Now, I'm going to do this for 3 movies. One of them is not real. The other 2 are absolutely real. But all of them are going to be a little unhinged and bizarre. So, basically, the purpose of the game here is to see if you can identify which movie I just made up off the top of my head, and which 2 are just actual real movies that you can watch, probably to your ultimate regret.
So it's 2 truths and a lie, essentially.
Yes.
Got it.
That's a much more streamlined way to describe this.
And no pressure, but I do really well at this game. So.
Oh. Alrighty then.
So,
if you don't win, you're out.
And you're like, and we no longer have NJ. Bye.
Yeah, I have to redo all of the rebranding that we've done. But yeah, so we'll have you do the guess first, and then we'll see, what Max thinks. But yeah, you're my main contestant here, NJ.
All right,
I'm getting tired of Max getting it right. All right, our first movie is called The Thinning from 1983. When an army of skeletal aliens begins to invade, first destroying the nearby military base, the residents of Croswell, New Mexico, and the surrounding area band together to fight back. The only problem? The aliens have begun thinning the herd with their flying saucers that feature beams that can pull all the fat from any human it touches and cause the aliens to plump out.
Honestly, the best part about that is Croswell.
That's like, don't copy off of me. It's Croswell.
Yes. The overall score is 3.9 out of 10. And the review gave it a 3 out of 10, saying that interesting creature design and overall decent ideas are ruined by the hero saying the word thin so many times it stops sounding like a word. Our next film.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the word Croswell. That's gonna haunt me in my dreams tonight.
It should.
Yes. The next film is called The Creature Wasn't Nice from 1981.
Are we sure this isn't a children's book?
Well, let me describe it for you. When the spaceship Vertigo stops to explore a previously unknown planet, the crew finds an unrecognized dollop of protoplasm and takes it aboard ship to return it to Earth for analysis.
I'm sorry. Any person who describes alien substance as a dollop, like, oh, Susan, we just need to take a dollop home to analyze.
Gotta get that dollop of protoplasm. On board, the life form expands into an oozing, person-eating monster, which communicates primarily by means of by means of a Vegas lounge act. The crew is gobbled up one after another until the 2 surviving crew members come up with a plan. Overall score, 3.5 out of 10. And the review gave it a 1 out of 10, saying, this has to be one of the lamest movies ever produced. However, if you can stick it out to about the middle of the film, you'll find the cream filling inside the stale cupcake, a memorable song sung by a forgettable alien. I can still get my husband to throw things at me when I sing the first bars.
Oh boy.
I hope that one's real.
Our final film is Seed People from 1992.
Oh yeah, Seed People.
The root of all evil.
Oh.
The sleepy little town of Comet Valley has been invaded by plants from outer space. Intent on taking over Earth, the space plants have found a way to pollinate humans, thus turning them into walking seed carriers. Can the resourceful residents fight off the alien invaders, or is the planet doomed to become an alien garden? Overall score, 4.3 out of 10. And the review gave it a 6 out of 10, saying, cheesy, lame, dull, boring, rip-off, low budget? The answer to all of the questions above, yes.
Oh boy, good luck, NJ.
So, is the fake film The Thinning, The Creature Wasn't Nice, or Seed People?
I want to say The Thinning.
So I'm gonna walk y'all through my thought process here.
All right.
Excellent.
What's the second one called?
The Creature Wasn't Nice.
And when was it made?
81.
Yeah, so I think that feels like the cusp of B movies. And the Vegas part definitely reads like it's a family-friendly alien film, like Gremlins, but way, way, way worse. Seed People feels very real to me. It's stupid, but it feels very real to me. Yeah, I think the thins,
The Thinning.
the wheat thins. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one too.
Okay, well, you're both right.
Woohoo! You can stick around, NJ.
Yay! I think Croswell was too much.
Yeah, I think Croswell is what I heard that, and I was like, well, why wouldn't they use Roswell? Why not? It's not trademarked or anything.
Croswell. That's what I'm gonna say. Like anytime somebody's like, "Hey, where did you go?" I'll be like, "I went to Croswell."
I'm gonna use it as Croswell.
Like when you stub your toe, or
Yeah, exactly. Instead of saying like, "Oh, damn it, Croswell."
Other great things is that apparently The Creature Wasn't Nice has several alternate titles, including just Spaceship and Naked Space.
Ooh, see, Naked Space is something I watched before the Utah ban on Pornhub.
Had to get that Leslie Nielsen 80s erotica. How are you guys saying spooky?
Guys, I watched Five Nights at Freddy's. It came out a few weeks ago, and shortly after it was on Peacock to stream, and that's never a good sign. Never ever a good sign. I'm not very familiar with the video game Five Nights at Freddy's. I know of it. I know what it's about. I've never played it. It just doesn't really interest me. The trailers that I saw seemed to be pretty spooky in some regard. The best thing about it was Josh Hutcherson. He's a beefcake, and I enjoyed looking at him. Let's leave it at that. I'm glad it was free.
Five Nights at Freddy's is definitely, kind of more, Gen Z kind of thing. Still wildly popular among Gen Z. So, a lot of my students who have, were big Five Nights at Freddy's fans, in their late elementary and junior high years, most of them have said that it was at least decent for capturing what they love about the games, but that just kind of maybe tells me that maybe the games aren't very good.
I mean, yeah, the game has great reviews. The movie has been getting some pretty positive reception. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but maybe I just am.
You're just too decrepit for it.
I think so. I'm also reading this really cool book by this person I know. Her name is NJ. It's a blast.
I bet she's really cool.
She's pretty neat.
Stop it.
What are you doing to stay spooky, NJ?
So I recently finished Tim Wagner's Let Me Tell You a Story. It is a couple, well, probably about 7 or 8 short stories that he's written in his career. And then he talks about kind of why he came up with this idea, why he wrote the story the way he did, and kind of like some tips, what he would change. And then there's some exercises at the end for you to try to, kind of enhance your writing. And I found it to be very interesting. I'm definitely going to try those. And then I finally watched Get Out.
What did you think?
I loved it.
Oh, it's so good.
it was, and I mean, I thought it was going in a different direction, and I was like, oh, right.
Oh, racism.
Yeah. Weird.
Wow. Yeah, that movie is pretty brilliant. And it's one of those good films that if you've never seen it before, that plot twist moment that just drops your jaw, and I love watching it with people.
Oh, yeah. It was great. And I like, God, what's her name? Allison Williams? Is that her name?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she's
crazy.
fantastic. The Perfection. She's in The Perfection, and I'm just, like, obsessed with it now.
She has this, like, spooky beauty to her.
Yeah.
Like, she's beautiful, but also she's gonna do some stuff. But also maybe I don't care.
But yeah, also maybe I'm into it.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, she's great.
And of course the big twist moment you're referring to is that the TSA is not useless. Is that it?
That guy was probably my favorite part of the movie, but yes.
Such a fun movie. I love that movie. I am staying spooky as well, mostly by, I mean, I'm always reading and watching and all of that constantly, but the big one I'm mostly excited about right now is the Separate Ways DLC that just dropped for the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is kind of like a concurrent story that's going on with one of the other characters, and it's just a lot of fun. I love Resident Evil 4. It's one of my all-time favorite games, and kind of experiencing the expansion of the story is a freaking delight. Resident Evil games mostly are amazing. There are exceptions, but we don't need to get into that right now.
I've never played any of them.
Resident Evil 4 and 7 are two of my all-time favorite video games. Just they're incredible.
I also have not played any of them, and I'm excited to try.
Yes, I'm going to lend it to you very soon as I finish my Separate Ways DLC that I now have.
They're going back to Get Out. If anyone would like to watch an alternate version, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 11, Episode 2, they spoof it with "Good God, Girl, Get Out!" And it's hilarious.
Oh, I need to watch that.
All right, friends, thank you for sticking around with us. We have talked about aliens and Drag Race now, video games. This is what the Screen Kings bring that no other podcast can bring.
Deeply unhinged in the best way.
So until next time, everybody, stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Spooky.